this is nothing that should be taken for granted.
Mhm.
Um, this is nothing to kind of toy with or procrastinate because hey, this disease is taking Black men by storm.
Yeah. Yes.
And if you don't believe me, just look at the data.
Yes.
Um, I cannot tell you how frequent men reach out to me about being newly or recently being diagnosed with this issue on a global scale, right? Worldwide. Black men, Caribbean brothers,
Yes.
African brothers, we struggle with this issue more so than any other male racial group. And what I found over the years that the willingness to get screened is our greatest defense against this stuff. If we're not getting ourselves screened in order to determine if in fact uh, there is prostate cancer, then we kind of take ourselves off of that field of play and we allow anything that's suspect to happen to us happen. The PSA and the digital rectal exam are certainly the gold standard of testing right now, according to multiple urologists. Um, Although there are some issues with the PSA in terms of specificity, in other words, determining measuring what it should be measuring and that kind of thing, but it's still considered like the gold standard. The digital rectal exam, as all you guys know, I mean, and according to several urologists that I polled, is probably the more accurate because they say it's their first introduction to the prostate. You know what I mean? And typically, and you understand how that prostate is shaped, there's three lobes. There's a transitional lobe, there's a central lobe, and then there's a peripheral lobe where most of the BPH, as you get older, uh, most of the prostate tends to enlarge is in the transitional lobe, whereas around the peripheral lobe is where you find most of the cancer. And that that one of the most dreaded tests is because of the amount of time that the urologist has to kind of spend in terms of in the rectum trying to feel that peripheral lobe of that prostate. But you oftentimes have to say, hey, listen, would you prefer to kind of take a little less than 1 to 2 second exam, or would you just prefer to allow this stuff to kind of happen to you, and you just allow it to just take over your system and just kind of devastate you as well as the family? This is what I want to ask the brothers. Are you guys familiar with proton therapy or immunotherapy? I'm sure Brother Mac is probably familiar with that since you're doing the prostate cancer work. But are you familiar with proton therapy as well as immunotherapy?
Yeah, I'm not. That's something that I have not come across as of yet.
Yeah, the proton has been around for a minute. Well, actually, I was introduced to it probably around 2013. I was working on a project at Bowie State University. We were part of a historical black college, and we were funded through the Office of Minority Men's Health to engage research and education in our communities around our campus. And at that particular time, Hampton University was the only proton center in the area. No Duke, no Carolina, none of those. I don't even think it was at Hopkins at that time.
Thank you for visiting the Hibiscus Tea Cafe. And for a full version of this teaching, please check out our YouTube channel.